This is 5 on your side at noon. Focused on you.
Developing at noon, every member of the Marble Hill Police Department has resigned. Thanks for being here at noon. I'm Kay Quinn. Marble Hill is about 2 hours south of St. Louis, and just hours ago, the police chief posted on social media that the department cannot provide law enforcement because of constraints put on the department's budget. So she's stepping down as of Friday. She says the other officers resigned on their own accord. The Bollinger County Sheriff's Department says it's working with the city to provide law enforcement there. Happening right now, a judge could overturn the conviction of a man currently sitting on death row. Marcellus Williams is on death row for killing former St. Louis Post-Dispatch reporter Felicia Gale in 1998. He's scheduled to be executed September 24th. St. Louis County Prosecutor Wesley Bell claims DNA evidence does not link him to the crime. A hearing is underway in St. Louis County right now. We have a reporter in the courtroom. We will update you when we learn more. One person is dead after being hit by a vehicle on Interstate 70. It happened this morning in the westbound lanes near Branch Street in North St. Louis. It's unknown why the person was on the roadway. Police aren't giving many details. The interstate closed for a few hours as crews investigated. All lanes reopened about 3 hours ago. Missouri American Water investigating a water main break in South St. Louis County. According to a notification from the utility, the leak started this morning near Hawkins, Fuchs, and Merrimack Bottom. Crews have since fixed it. Missouri American Water says a leak caused low or no water pressure for some homes in the area. A key stretch of 7th Street in downtown St. Louis will get a $3 million improvement. But as 5 on your side's Megan Kernan reports, not everyone is happy with the plan.
We've got a lot of feedback from our stakeholders that they want to be able to bike to downtown and through downtown.
This is what 7th Street looks like now. And this is what the more than $3.5 million plan will look like once it's finished.
We've already got a lot of strengths downtown, Busch Stadium and Ballpark Village on one end and the Convention Center on the other. What we're doing here is connecting those two and at the same time creating a really wonderful environment for people to walk, bike, and drive through at the same time.
Kurt Weigel, the chief downtown officer for Greater St. Louis, Inc., says it will include new streets, sidewalks, streetscaping, lighting, trees, and other enhancements.
Better sidewalks. So where the sidewalks are cracked or broken, we'll have better sidewalks. We'll have street trees, which, in a hot summer day, make it a much more pleasant place to walk.
They also plan to add a new bike lane on the west side of 7th Street with raised buffers between it and the driving lanes that will connect to the Brickline Greenway.
The bike lane too will create some buffer between the cars and people walking on the street, so it'll feel safer for pedestrians in particular.
Makia Hicks, the general manager for Hotel St. Louis, says this plan will cut off their ballroom entrance from the road. Where trucks drop off deliveries, it will block their valet services and hotel guests and employees coming through that entrance.
This is actually where our ballroom is located, so an entrance into our hotel. So if they take this space away, when we have events on our street, we have minimal room anyway, our guests are going to have problems actually getting into the hotel. So if you disrupt our operations and then we have upset guests, then obviously it hinders our operations at the hotel.
Megan Kernan, 5 on your side.
Now, the St. Louis Cardinals are fully behind the plan. They're contributing financially to the project. The Board of Public Service says construction will start next month. A judge is ordering the London Tea Room to vacate its downtown west location. The tea and English cuisine destination is located in a building on Locust Street. According to our partners at the St. Louis Business Journal, the judge ordered the owner of the business to vacate following a dispute with the landlord. Jackie James sued, claiming the building codes prohibited her from using 40% of the lease space and that she wasn't notified of the problem when she looked at the property. The business must be out by September 15th.
All right, weather-wise, sprinkles for some. Yes, most of it stayed up in the clouds, and we call that Virgo. When the rain kind of falls or sprinkles fall through the air, evaporate, most of them do, before they reach the surface of the earth, which is very dry. But some of those have been making it down to the surface, so a lot of clouds out there now. Here's a look at St. Charles westward. and eventually we're going to clear up as we get into the afternoon hours. You can see the back edge of the cloud cover up around Quincy, Illinois. So we've got a ways to go before we clear up with this little disturbance moving through that northwest flow we talk about. High pressure in the mid and upper levels sits right over West Texas, and then low pressure up there around New England, kind of pinwheeling around, and we get these little disturbances that come through here, and that's what's happening right now. So 70 degrees at the moment, and that humidity at 55%. That dew point is really comfortable and low, and you notice how cool it was this morning. And we have an east wind at about 8 miles an hour. Current temperatures, 60s. If you get a little sunshine down around Centerville, you're at 74. But we'll talk about the warm-up as we head toward the weekend coming up.
It is day 3 of the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. NBC's Alice Barr is at the United Center with a look at what to expect tonight.
Hi there. The big event tonight from the Democratic National Convention in Chicago will be Minnesota Governor Tim Walz formally accepting his party's nomination for vice president and taking that opportunity on this national stage to introduce himself to much of this country that still doesn't know a whole lot about who he is. They may have heard him referred to as Coach Walz from his high school football days, or also may have heard about some of his Army National Guard background, but he has a lot to do to reveal who he is, what he stands for as Vice President Harris's running mate. Last night was really the Obama show, and that is when both former President Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama took the stage, and they used their characteristic message of hope, but they also talked about backing that up. Michelle Obama led the audience in a call and response about not being anxious about whether the United States was ready to elect someone like Vice President Kamala Harris, but about getting out there and doing something to be sure that she was elected. And then both of the Obamas also went on the attack against former President Trump in a way we haven't necessarily seen before. And they talked about how we didn't need to see another Trump presidency, former President Obama saying that the sequel is always worse than the original. That was a moment that really electrified the crowd here in the United Center as top Democrats made their pitch to elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in November. From the DNC in Chicago, Alice Barr, NBC News.
It is another day of protesting outside the United Center. Several people have been arrested after clashing with police during a pro-Palestinian protest that began outside the Israeli consulate. The intense confrontations with officers began minutes into yesterday's demonstration and continued into the night. Many are demanding the Democratic Party support ending aid to Israel in its war with Hamas. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, is in Chicago. He'll report live from the convention tonight on 5 on Your Side at 5, 6, and 10. You can also catch his reports on KSTK.com and streaming on 5+. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is pledging to make America safe again. During a campaign stop in Michigan, the former president stood alongside sheriff's deputies and labeled Vice President Harris the, quote, ringleader of a Marxist attack on law enforcement across the country. Still ahead, a suspected murderer on the run no more, where the Mississippi fugitive ended up after escaping a month ago. Plus, a rising number of parvovirus cases has caught the CDC's attention. What to look for as kids go back to school.